I'm Amy, sex educator, sex and relationship coach, and co-owner of PurePleasureShop.com.
I'm April, VP of the cutting-edge sex toy company Hot Octopus, and I dedicate my life to the business of sex.
We are on a mission to teach you how to have hot sex, deep intimacy, and how to make your own rules for who you are as a sexual being.
Welcome to the Shameless Sex Revolution. Want to learn more? Go to shamelesssex.com.
And for 15% off of some of our favorite sex toys, use code SHAMELESSSEX at PurePleasureShop.com.
You are listening to a pleasure podcast. For more from our sex podcast collective, visit pleasurepodcasts.com.
Well, hello, everyone.
Hello, mustaches.
Welcome to Movember.
It's
Yay!
Movember.
So what does Movember mean, Chip?
It means you shaved your big old stash into a nice stash.
You shaved off some of your facial furs and you've got a stash all of a sudden.
And we shaved our dogs to have big beards.
No, we did not do that.
No, we didn't. I never shaved my dog.
Well, no, your dog actually does go get a trim job. I mean, you at the groomer, but
He does every month.
Yeah, no, we don't do mustaches.
He has chaps. Amy calls them his chaps.
Yeah, he wears cute chaps, and then he gets things stuck in him. But that's not what this podcast is about. It's about prostate. It's about prostate play, prostate pleasure, and prostate health. We did this same podcast maybe last year or the year before. It's the same month.
We always do something around
but
prostate health.
with the same person, with Forrest.
I wasn't on that show, but we did do one.
You weren't on that show?
I was busy, Amy.
Oh, shit. You a busy girl.
I
Well,
know.
Forrest is amazing.
I think I had the vid, maybe. I'm just kidding.
Maybe you did. And Forrest is amazing, and he is so knowledgeable about all these things, prostate pleasure, prostate health. He actually got into this via more a health side and discovered the pleasure side and has so much to say about how to use prostate toys or tap into prostate pleasure and then also the health purposes. It's very interesting. And so anyone who owns a bum who has a penis, please listen. This is going to be great for you. Anyone who loves someone who has a bum that also has a penis, also known as someone who has a prostate.
It could be your dad.
It could be your dad. You should probably listen too. There's a lot of good information
I've
here.
asked my dad about his prostate before. I was like, Dad,
What'd he say?
do you... He was like, no, I don't know anything about that. I'm like, okay, Dad.
So you got one in there, and just so you know, you get a lot of good
He was not
pleasure.
interested in talking about it with me. So I was like, respect.
Respect.
I was saying if I sent you something, if it just appeared
Would you maybe use it?
by an anonymous sender, would you use it? And he also was like, that's like his laugh. Actually, it's more like,
That's adorable.
is it?
That's cute. Well, I don't have a prostate. I've had some experience with penis owners, and
What would your dad say about that if you sent him something anonymously?
a fucking prostate toy? Oh my god, I can't even answer that question. My dad currently has dementia, so
Oh yeah, yes, good point.
yeah, good
Forgot
point.
about that.
Probably. So let's not even go there.
All right, we won't.
Pre-dementia, he'd probably do the same thing and not use it and throw in the garbage.
My dad would probably use it to fix something.
I wonder what else you could do with it.
I don't know. Maybe this is a good experiment, but
Forrest, we need you to call us right now. What else can you do with a prostate stimulator? All right. Anyways, so great podcast. Just a heads up though for this episode. I was feeling under the weather, so April and I were not together when we recorded. So this is 3 different screens.
we were isolating just in case there was COVID exposure.
And I did not get COVID.
No, she didn't. But we were isolating, being responsible humans.
And so we were on 3 different screens. So Forrest where was he? LA. You in your house, only 2 blocks away, but you were outside.
Well, I have no internet connection in my home. That's why we record at your house. And so I had to be next to the modem, which is in the front house, which is outside.
So there's like an airplane during the middle of the
There's
show.
like birds
Like,
chirping. There's Legend squeaking his ball. There's like all sorts of interesting things. So
Yeah.
sorry in advance for that.
Yeah, apologize in advance for maybe not the best audio, but there's some really, really wonderful information in here. So please stay tuned. Also want to give a shout out to one of our listeners. I believe we answered your sex question.
Yes, we did.
And then this person responded saying how much we have helped them with the information. They bought a lot of the products we've recommended. And then they asked, how can I support you more? And I was like, well, just by supporting our sponsors helps us. But then they also were like, can I send you some money on Venmo or whatever? And they sent us $500.
Thank you, listener. Thank you. It means so much to us. And we're not encouraging anyone to do that. We just want to give this person a shout out.
If y'all want to do that, that's cool. But what I'm saying, thank yous to this person.
I'm worried about taking donations like that. I mean, I have gratitude, but I'm like, I don't know.
What we're going to do with that is we're getting new microphones.
Yeah, because Perry fucking chewed up your mic and it keeps shorting out. We've had to restart because
we already restarted.
This chewed up mic keeps shorting out, and Amy's like, "Oh no,
we
got to start over." So this is actually going to be better for everyone. It's not just for us; it's for all of you listening out there.
We're going to up our audio game. So thank you to that listener. We really, really, really appreciate you. You are a wonderful human, and even to the people who don't give us money and you just listen. Thank you so much. We love all of you.
Give us reviews.
Oh, yeah.
Give us reviews. We read them.
You know what helps? So reviews, positive ones, please. And also, if you subscribe to us, that helps our numbers. And that helps us, too.
When people ask me about the podcast, when I meet them and I'm casually talking about it, and they're like, how can I subscribe? It's actually a little bit difficult to figure it out because you have to search it out and then you have to go down and hit subscribe.
Like
so
on iTunes?
It's the same with reviewing. You have to go down to review. You have to search for Shameless Sex in iTunes. And then you have to, even if you are subscribed, scroll down, hit 5 stars and write your whatever. Awesome. Great.
It's not an easy process.
It's not. So it does take a little bit more, but we do appreciate each and every one of you who subscribe. It only helps more folks find Shameless Sex, and it's free to you all. That's why we have ads.
And we're not turning into one of those podcasts that is now you have to pay, $10 a month to listen to us.
Yeah.
We
free
are free. And I know sometimes our ads might be annoying, but guess what? We are still free. So, and we are going to stay that way. So with that, let me tell you a little something about an ad, actually. Something that keeps us alive. And let me tell you about Uberlube and just say, way before Uberlube was a sponsor of this podcast, way before because I'm one of their lead educators, way before any of that, way before my sex shop carried Uberlube. It was just 12 years ago?
I don't know when they came out.
They've
their first
around
model.
12 or 13 years.
Wow.
I tried their product and was in love with it.
I was always in love with it too. Even before you started working there.
And I was like, this is lube?
Yeah.
Like lube can feel this
When
good?
we were at Pure Pleasure.
Yeah.
When we worked at the retail store, you were like, you have to try this lube. And I was like, what is it? I was obsessed with this other brand. And then I tried Uberlube and I was like, whoa, this shit is legit.
Yeah. Well, so it doesn't feel so. Well, it's lubricant, but it feels like luxurious on the body. It's silky. It never gets sticky. It has no flavor. It has no scent. You actually want it on your body. Like I rub it into my skin. I use it for sex usually. Sometimes I'm putting it on my cuticles, on my legs.
I put it when I have dry mouth in my mouth, if I'm giving a BJ, I'll squirt a little bit. And Steven, who's been on our show, one of the founders.
The owners. I thought you were going to say something about blowjobs and Steven.
No. That was a bad segue. But he's done a shot of it just to prove that it's not going to do any damage to your body.
Which we are not recommending that you do, but we're saying if you get a little bit in your mouth or like say it's on someone's bits and then you put your mouth on the bits, it's not going to hurt you and there's no flavor, no scent. It's fabulous lube. We have over 3,000 doctors, therapists, etc. in the U.S. alone recommending this to their patients because they're seeing less negative side effects that happens with a lot of lubes. So with that said, if you would like to try what we think is the best lube ever, our personal and expert opinion, go to uberlube.com and you get 10% off and free shipping with coupon code SHAMELESSSEX. Join the fan club. I can tell you that the majority of the people that have done that, actually, like we said last time, we have yet to receive one person responding saying, I didn't like Uberlube.
Yeah, and if you are that person...
Well,
sorry
about that, but I haven't heard from you yet. So
I haven't heard from you yet either.
All right, you ready for the next question?
Yeah.
All right. So this human, I believe, is a penis owning.
Wait, I was gonna go hee.
Okay, want to do that again?
Just like my dad.
Oh.
Hee.
Oh my God. You're so awkward.
It's just for Movember.
Okay.
I am really awkward today, y'all. Sorry, that is awkward.
Oh, that's why I love you.
Yeah, you can't fast forward now, people.
No,
it's going to get better from here. It's going to go up from here.
Forward.
No, this is a good sex question.
Yeah.
I haven't read it yet, and I'm listening openly.
You think it's good and you haven't read it yet?
You told me you were like, this is a good one.
Good. Well, I felt it was important.
Yeah. So I like the art of surprise.
And listen to the ending of it, like the shame and that part, which is to me was like, we need to speak to this right now because this is not a unique experience. So, okay, I think this is from Anonymous Penis Owner. I'm married. My wife is beautiful, kind, sweet, compassionate, understanding, and I'm lucky to have her. I love, admire, and appreciate her. That being said, I do my best to be the husband she deserves, but my sexual cravings are above and beyond what she has been able to satisfy, and I feel awful. Is the only option for me to go through life unsatisfied and for her to feel insecure because of my insatiable longings. Curious to know your answer. I hope it's not something along the lines of you're a scumbag, get your shit together, because believe me, I already feel that way and I've been trying to. That's why that shit touched me. That ending part right there was like, oh my God, you're telling
Have
yourself.
we ever called anyone a scumbag? We
No,
would
I
never do
don't
that.
think that they're saying
No,
that.
I
we
know
would
they're
do-
not, but I
no.
would be like, no, you're not a scumbag.
Oh, fuck no,
I
you're
think
not a
the first
scumbag.
piece of you reaching out with this question and all the accolades you said about your wife, she sounds incredible. And thank you for reaching out. And you're not a scumbag, first of all.
Oh my
no
God.
way. You're not a creep or a scumbag or a weirdo, or you are amazing. You're normal. And it's okay to have these differentiations between your relationship.
Yes. So what we're talking about is desire discrepancy, which Esther Perel speaks to so often. And honestly, I don't really know of one long-term relationship, meaning like 1 to 50-year long relationships where there's not some level of desire discrepancy where someone wants more sex
At some
than the
point,
other. At some
especially,
point.
right.
Or different types of sex. You know, maybe someone's like, I like kinky sex. And the other person's like, I'm not a kinky person. And I have a hard no to that. And, you know, so what do you do? And this is why also I really agree with in the dating phase and in the pre-marriage phase to kind of figure out some of these things and how you align. It won't perfectly align because desire changes when people have children. You get stress, grief. There's so many things. Age. Things are just bound to change. It just happens. I am genuinely curious about a couple things. So this person, I'm going to say he, because that's my guess. So I don't know, but you're saying, am I a scumbag? Get your shit together. One thing that came to mind is are these beliefs because you just have these desires and thoughts? Are you watching a whole bunch of porn on the side and trying to, deal with this desire that you have that's not being fulfilled? Are you having in some sort of extracurricular activities with folks outside of your marriage, like cam girls, sex workers, or other humans? Again, as I say this, you're not a scumbag, and I have no judgment about that. But there's something in here that to me is a little bit like, is it really just the fact that you have a stronger desire,
Insatiable desire, as he said,
and that you're broken because of that? So if that's
which
the case,
you're not broken.
you're not, certainly not. And if you are trying to seek other ways to fulfill your desires and needs, I support that and prefer in my perfect world. I guess prefer is not the right word, but I advise for us to try to live as our best selves so that we don't live with a lot of guilt, which will hurt relationship, or we don't do things that are hurtful to other people when we are not in our ultimate honesty. With that said, sometimes people cheat. Sometimes people watch a whole bunch of porn and don't tell their partner. So my question for you is, why do you feel like a scumbag? Is it just because you have that desire that's not being satiated? If so, you are not a scumbag. You're perfectly fine. Are you watching cam girls and a lot of porn? Still not a scumbag. Are you having sex with other people and your partner doesn't know about it? Still not going to call you a scumbag. Safety might be an issue there. Might affect your relationship later should your partner that you absolutely love find out. That might become an issue. I don't know. But the last thing I want to say, and I'm sure April has some comments about this, is how much have you spoken to your partner about this? You say your sexual cravings, but I still don't really know what those are. Is it just sex? Like the amount of sex, the quality of sex, the type of sex? Have you had conversations about this and your partner has stated, I'm a hard no, or this is just the way I am, or I'm not willing to work with you? Generally speaking, what happens in sexual relationships, especially with desire discrepancy, is we find a way to work together. It doesn't mean everyone gets their needs met. You want sex 5 days a week and they want it 1 day a week, but you put those together and figure out a way to work together. you want sex 5 days a week and your partner wants no sex, maybe you negotiate an open relationship. Maybe you negotiate some other ways to fulfill this. But the question's a little ambiguous. I just wanted to address it to let you know that there's nothing wrong with you. And I'm curious about the conversations about what you two have had and about why it is that you are so hard on yourself for having such a strong sex drive with a partner who doesn't have that.
It sounds like there is some missing information here, only because. So I recently reread the 4 Agreements, which was really important. And so that was something that I wanted to share because I personally feel like when I live my life by the 4 Agreements, which is be impeccable with your word, meaning always do things with integrity. And this could be both for you and your partner. You don't take anything personally, never make assumptions, and always do your best, which can be a bit ambiguous as well. But it means when you go into everything and you feel like you do your best, that is going to hopefully that you tried your hardest. So have you lived by those 4 things? And if you don't have that book, it's by Don Miguel Ruiz, I believe.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been out for a long time. And there's now a 5th agreement.
There's a 5th agreement. What, I don't remember what
I
the
don't
5th one
remember.
is.
It's something about...
It's probably like, listen to Shameless Sex. Something like that.
Yeah, right. Sorry, Don Miguel Ruiz.
And I like that you said that, and also to be gentle with yourself if you haven't lived all those agreements. I'll speak for myself. I won't speak for April, but I'm pretty sure she's in the same boat. We haven't always done that.
Well, no, but I am trying to call that in,
Yeah.
and that's why I reread the book, and I'll reread it again. It's a short book, but this is what came up for me because it seems to me that there's some things about maybe taking on the assumption that you're a scumbag or something, and that's not the case. If you're living in this way and you're doing your best, and you can communicate to your wife in a way that hopefully you can sit down and be organized about it, and hope that you can present the information in a way that she can understand it, which doesn't mean to say she's going to have her own reactions. But when we're talking to people in relationships, no matter how long you've been in it, as Amy said, a year to 50 years to 80 years to however long, even in friendships, it can be hard to talk about your feelings. And when it comes to desires and sex, there can be shame around that. And if you have this thing that you call insatiable longings, maybe just being clear about that and then seeing where the boundaries can go on her behalf. Yeah. What is she comfortable with and what is she a hard no on? Yeah. And that's also, we've done so many shows about getting clear about your desires, and maybe you can explore those things with sensual erotic apps. Yeah. Like with Dipsy, which we talk about all the time because it's awesome. Or maybe you can watch OMGS together, or maybe you can buy some sex toys together and start exploring your bodies in that way. And maybe you can independently watch, cam people model their stuff.
So many options. I think the conversation is really what's necessary and important. Maybe you've already had it and it's clear, and your wife's like, nope, this is just how I am. And it still feels like there's something, like April said, something kind of missing here in the information. So, but your desires, your insatiable longings, whatever they are, as long as they are consensual, like if you're into the most kinky fucking thing, or you have some intense fetish for, I don't know, you get really turned on by watching 2 ladybugs having sex. I don't know. I mean, people are into all kinds of things. That's okay. It's consensual.
As long as you don't try to hit on the ladybug.
Yeah.
Because she can't say yes or no.
Don't force the ladybug.
No, don't force the ladybug to have sex on your finger.
But yeah, the conversation's getting more clear on that. And then if you truly feel like, and I guess the other question that they had, and we'll stop because I know this is a long answer. You feel awful. Is this the only option for me to go through life unsatisfied? No, I don't think so. Unless you choose that. Some people are okay with that when sex is not important to them. Some people will give, or maybe it's important to them, and they will give up sex, romance, passion to stay in a safe relationship. And that is your choice. But if you feel your deep longing and your deep truth is being ignored, and a part of you is being put on the side table or the back burner and it's eating you up alive, and you need to tend to it, do something about that and start with a conversation with your partner.
Good advice. Are you ready for a bio?
Hell fucking yeah, I love Forrest.
All right. Forrest Andrews is the product and business development manager of Aneros. Forrest's relationship with Aneros began in 2002, and he has played an important role in the evolution of the company and their products ever since becoming their sole product tester and a consultant for the development of new products. Between 2003 to 2012, he monitored
Still got it.
Between 2003 and 2012, he mentored many hundreds of men, helping them transition to new levels of sensual awareness through prostate massage. To check out all of Aneros' incredible line of products, go to aneros.com. But first,
this podcast is free to you because of our incredible sponsors like Dipsea. Dipsea is our favorite audio app full of short, sexy stories designed to get you lost in a world where pleasure is the only priority. Interested in exploring threesomes, edging, or just discovering what your desires are? Dipsea has you covered with stories to help turn you on and tap into your desires anywhere, anytime. They have hundreds of stories to choose from, and they release new content every week, so there's always something exciting to explore.
I love how Dipsea lets you dive into your fantasies in a safe and shame-free way. Plus, the app has wellness sessions to help you wind down and relax before bedtime. You can choose to close your eyes and drift off to your favorite soundscape, or change up your bedtime routine by listening to a sensual and sexy bedtime story. And for our listeners, Dipsea's offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/shameless. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to DIPSEA stories.com/shameless. dipseastories.com/shameless. Okay, it's interview time. Forrest Andrews, tell us who you are and how you got into the business of prostate health and Aneros specifically. And welcome.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here and once again with you guys. I basically, at this point, I am the product development manager and business development manager of Ineros. And my association started many years ago. It's over 20 years ago at this point. It actually started with a health condition that I had. I had prostatitis. I was afflicted with it early in my 20s, as a matter of fact. Had it chronically. Could not get rid of it. And, I'd gone through all of the antibiotics. I'd done all sorts of different diets, and there was just nothing that worked for me. And so at a period of time, I was looking on the internet, and I was looking for alternative health, and I came across a product that purported to be a prostate massager that could be used for treating prostatitis. I got the product. The very first time that I used it, and bear in mind, I wasn't looking for this, I had an earth-shaking orgasm. I mean, this was something that was completely outside of my frame of reference, absolutely blew my mind. It came on within about 5 minutes of using the product. And I'd never had anything like it. I'd never had that kind of experience before. Over the next several months, I was having these powerful orgasms, and the symptoms of the prostatitis had disappeared. So it was really a miraculous transformation of sorts. I reached out to the company to ask them what this was all about. And they told me that, in fact, that they had been getting reports from other men who were having, this same experience. And over a period of time, I was reaching out to them, and I was telling them about some of the experiences that I was having. I was making certain suggestions, and a relationship developed between myself and the owners of the company. And I came to be, they asked me if I wanted to test their products, which was like, no brainer, And I came to be a product consultant for them. And for really unpaid for over 15 years. I worked, and I was essentially the sole product tester for Aneros from 2003 until 2015 So that's how this all started. Yeah. And so in a sense, everything that they've made between that period of time has had my stamp on it in one way or another. So
And
I'm really
they've
proud
all
of
been
that.
in your ass, is what you're
You
saying.
betcha.
That's what I'm
You
hearing.
betcha.
Not the
The ass
new ones
that
that
changed
everyone's
the world.
getting, just so you know. So okay, let's speak to the beginner who maybe has never heard of the prostate or where it's located. What does it do? Why are people into utilizing it for pleasure? Can you teach us a little something about that?
Well, it's a small muscular gland. It's about the size of a walnut, and it's located between the bladder and rectum of people assigned male at birth and cisgender men. It's also known as a P spot or a male G spot. The word actually comes to us from the Greek prostatis, which means it stands before of or in front of, which kind of describes the position in front of the bladder if you were viewing the body from the top when it's reclined. In a standing position, it appears below the bladder. The prostate plays several important roles in the male reproductive system. First, it produces one of the fluids that makes up the cocktail that we know as semen or ejaculate. Prostatic fluid contains nutrients that helps sustain sperm and a substance that helps keep it liquid in a liquid state, I should say. Second, it provides much of the pumping force that propels semen onto the body during an ejaculation. And third, and most importantly for our discussions, it houses a bundle of sensory nerves known as the prostatic plexus that are involved with sexual arousal. So there, in a nutshell, or walnut shell, if you will, is your prostate 101.
So, okay, so you mentioned in the intro to who you are as Forrest for Aneros, your incredible prostate orgasms that you had that were induced by putting something in your bum. So can you talk about why prostate orgasms are different from other orgasms?
Certainly. Well, start off with, and hold on to your hat, because this takes just a little bit to explain here. First, to be clear, the vast majority of orgasms are prostate orgasms to one degree or another. You know, a traditional orgasm, the one that most men are familiar with, includes ejaculation, and ejaculation includes fluids that are released from the prostate. So it's a prostate orgasm. But there's a second type of orgasm that is prostate-centered, and this arises from a different source of stimulation. And that's what we're going to be talking about here today. That's what I'm going to refer to as a prostate orgasm. Now, this one occurs without ejaculation. Okay? So, yes, it's possible for there to be orgasm without ejaculation. The truth is, ejaculation only actually occurs as a result of orgasm, not the other way around. And it's possible to separate these two responses by exploring an alternate arousal pathway. Now, these prostate orgasms are sometimes called male G-spot orgasms or super orgasms. You know, they go by a variety of different names. What makes them so super? First of all, they can last minutes at a time instead of the all too brief seconds of a traditional orgasm. Second, the orgasm itself is far more intense and it can be felt all over the body. For that reason, they're also called whole body orgasms. But the most dramatic difference is they can often occur in multiples, where a man can have one orgasm after another. How many? Well, there really is no limit. Some men have reported having as many as 50 in a single session. I can tell you I've bested that by many, many more in a session that I will never repeat, by the way. So how are these possible? To understand that, you have to know a little bit about the human sexual response. Now, for people with prostates and penises, it's split into 4 phases: excitement, plateau, orgasm, and resolution. Excitement is excitement. It's the accumulation of pleasurable sensations leading to arousal. The building of arousal is the plateau phase. And orgasm, that's the release. And everybody knows what that's about, right? The last phase, resolution, is what's important to the concept of a multiple orgasm. Resolution is simply the time where your body is returning to normal. It's sometimes called the recovery phase. Within the resolution phase, there's a secondary stage called a refractory period. And whether you've heard the term before or not, most men and their partners, for that matter, are very familiar with this one. This is the timeout that people with prostates and penises get when they lose an erection. and it lasts from anywhere from minutes to hours, depending on the individual. It's ejaculation that brings about the release of certain hormones in the body that actually create the refractory period. That's the important part here. So here's the deal. When there's no ejaculation, there's no timeout. Prostate-centered orgasms, super O's, whatever you want to call them, essentially flip the lid on how many orgasms someone can have in a single session. And it's because these orgasms occur without ejaculation. Prostate orgasms have one other prominent feature that's worth mentioning, by the way. They leave you feeling charged and energized, which is a great thing because you're always ready for more of them, you know? But it's quite a contrast in comparison to an ejaculation that generally produces kind of a sleepiness and lethargy almost immediately. So it's really a different experience all the way around. Fact is, people who become proficient in these kinds of orgasms can increase their sexual stamina dramatically. You know, I mean, gone are the days of reciting baseball scores in your head, trying to stave off a climax while you're making love with a partner.
Thank God.
You bet. For people who become accustomed to this alternate path, they can choose to have a non-ejaculatory orgasm instead, maintain their erection, and keep on going. A long time ago, back before I officially worked for the company, I created a thread in our forum, which I referred to Aneros massager as being a tantric training wheel. And that's what this is really all about. It can open up a whole new world of sensuality for you.
So what's the trick? Because it sounds like there's a trick.
Well, the trick is, as I mentioned before, these orgasms involve a different arousal pathway, one that centers on direct or indirect stimulation of the prostate. Of the two, direct stimulation is by far the easiest path. But the fact is, it's not as simple as sticking something up your ass and pushing a button. You know, if it was, it would have been common knowledge centuries ago, and the earth wouldn't be as overpopulated as it is today. But it comes down to this. Generating a prostate orgasm is different than generating an ejaculation. The prostate is not a penis, and although it has sensory nerves, it's not really a sensory organ per se. What this means is the prostate doesn't respond to stimulation in the same way a penis does. It's not aroused in the same way a penis is. So where harder, faster, and longer are kind of standbys for an ejaculation, they're a bit of a no-go for a prostate orgasm. Successfully generating a prostate orgasm always begins with more subtle stimulation that leads to subtle sensation that builds to arousal over time, increasing the arousal with more stimulation and sensation until you have an orgasm. So just to recap a bit, the first thing to get is a prostate orgasm is approached in a more subtle way. Second thing is it can take a little bit more time. It's more like the cis female orgasm, if you want to put it that way. Third thing to know is the prostate is easily overstimulated. That's why harder, faster, and longer don't work. And that's where Aneros devices come in. They can be a catalyst for making that happen. Our products produce subtle to moderate stimulation using anal contractions only. So it's possible, it's not possible to overstimulate yourself or harm yourself in any way. More importantly, they're designed to work in harmony with the anatomy of people with prostates. So they're highly sensitive and responsive to even the smallest movement, whether it's voluntary or involuntary. Now, this becomes an important factor during higher levels of prostate arousal, because it's at this time when users start to experience involuntary contractions. Now, just so everybody understands what I'm trying to say, these are contractions that are not under conscious control. These are your body doing its own thing. Involuntary contractions lead to a positive sensory loop of self-stimulation when one involuntary contraction creates another, and so on and so on. In this way, our products function almost like a catalyst, permitting your body to self-stimulate itself to orgasm. Some of our users have termed this auto-fucking. I mean, it's kind of a crazy expression, but it accurately describes the state where the Ineros appears to be moving on its own. It's this phenomena that often ushers in the male G-spot orgasm.
I think you should come and work for Hot Octopus, okay? I just can't. I'm like, wait, wow, they're so lucky to have you. For fuck's sake, dude, you're so knowledgeable. Sorry, I had to interrupt you because I'm like blown away by the amount of knowledge that you have. Just like incredible.
You bet.
Well,
I want to add this too. I want to tell you this too. I have to say that our massagers are also terrific as erotic amplifiers because they can be used right out of the box for other encounters. They're capable of increasing the intensity of traditional ejaculatory orgasms manyfold. They're amazing for internal stimulation during intercourse or just about any foreplay you can think of. And when you do ejaculate, you can count on a more voluminous release of ejaculate too. So this just gives you some of the ideas of how versatile the product is.
So can we talk a little bit more about the products then? Because I've seen all the different shapes and designs of them. Like what are the Aneros massagers all about?
Well, we have several different, I think in our line right now, we're up to, 12 or 13 prostate massagers at this point. And they're different shapes and sizes, honestly, to accommodate different preferences. That's really what it comes down to. We have some that are large for people who want a fuller experience. And we have some that are smaller for people who want a more subtle experience. So that's really what it's all about. That's what it's all about in terms of, it's different strokes. Put it this way, when the company started, they started with one product. And certainly their intent is that it would be a one size fits all. And they found out, and we found out, and kind of led them in this direction, that people had these different preferences and that they would like, to have products that meet those preferences. And so that's really, how we worked on it. That's how we developed it.
Okay, time for a quick break. In our expert opinion, your mattress matters. From quality sleep to fantastic sex, your mattress should enhance every moment you spend on it. That's why we are huge fans of Helix Sleep. Helix knows that everybody is unique, so they have different options to choose from, including soft, medium, and firm mattresses, to ones that help cool you down if you sleep hot, as well as mattresses that are great for spinal alignment to prevent morning aches and pains, and even mattresses for plus-size sleepers.
I took the Helix quiz, which helped me choose the Midnight mattress, and I'm in love. It has a medium feel, not too soft or firm, and it's great for side sleepers like me. Just go to helixsleep.com/shameless. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress that just might give you the best sleep of your life. And guess what? Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/shameless. That's helixsleep.com/shameless for up to $200 off and 2 free pillows. Go upgrade your sleep game now.
This podcast was also made possible by OMGYes.com. OMGYes is a research-based online program that teaches you all about how to pleasure the pussy. OMGYes studied thousands of vulva owners to find out how they orgasm and then made beautiful animated modules and super honest short videos to give you ways to reach even more pleasure. I've been recommending OMGYes to my clients for years, and it's been changing their lives.
We all know pleasure is fluid and ever-changing, so why not add more tools to your pleasure tool belt? OMGYes is for everyone, so whether you are a vulva owner or you just love vulvas, OMGYes will give you the techniques to get your O-face on. There are 2 seasons to choose from and hundreds of gorgeous videos to explore, so go see what science says about pleasure and visit omgyes.com/shameless. That's omgyes.com/shameless to get $5 off your OMGYes access. Again, omgyes.com/shameless. Go check it out. Now back to the show. So, and we've talked about Aneros since Amy and I have been working in the sex toy industry, and I was working at Pure Pleasure. I learned about Aneros products because they were like the go-to recommended products for folks that were searching for prostate play toys. They were always products that were beautifully made. And I only started researching the engineering when I worked at the sex shop, because I didn't know about prostate stimulation. And that was back in 2008 when I started. And I feel like nowadays people are starting to become more aware, which is what Movember is about, right? This wear a mustache and learn about, it's not even about prostate health, it's about health for penis owners in general. And so this next question is kind of geared towards why do penis owners, even to this day, when I talk to a lot of straight penis owners about their prostates, I'm like, tell me about what you know about your prostate. Have you ever had a prostate orgasm? Just to fuck with them a little bit, because it's kind of fun. Sorry, if you ever meet me at a bar, you might be sorry if I ask you about your prostate. But why are people just learning about prostate orgasms? Why do you think?
Well, there's some reasons behind this, but let's put it this way. As a point of fact, this type of orgasm was documented thousands of years ago in the teachings of Tantra in India and the Tao or Tao in China. But at the time, it was associated with religious and philosophical doctrines that kind of kept it from common knowledge. Furthermore, the easy availability of a traditional orgasm or ejaculation back in that day made it, they made people look no farther. To a certain extent, that is as true today as it was back then. An ejaculation is the closest thing to push button instant fulfillment that it gets. And for some people, it's possible to do when they're drunk, and you're exhausted, the minutes away from death, perhaps. Prostate orgasms require a little bit more time and patience to achieve. And as I mentioned before, they got to be approached in a more subtle way. Now, of the two types of orgasms, ejaculation has definitely got the instant gratification element going for it. But as I described earlier, the prostate orgasm offers a deeper, more powerful, more long-lasting experience. In Western civilization, the prostate orgasm, it remained in the closet until the 80s. The seminal works of Masters and Johnson and Kinsey, it had virtually no reference to it. I mean, that was back in the 50s and 60s. Things changed in the 80s with the release of the Multi-Orgasmic Man. This was a book by a Taoist master by the name of Mantak Chia. In it, he described the Taoist technique of ejaculation, which is essentially a prostate orgasm brought about by abstinence, penile edging, focused breathing, and anal contractions. Unfortunately, success with this technique was pretty elusive. And between the abstinence and the failure to release, it left a lot of people with nothing to show for it other than a raging case of blue balls. I mean, it just wasn't fun. Personally, I never had any success with the technique myself. With all due modesty, I think the real change element came with the invention of our products in the mid-90s. As I mentioned before,
the movie American Pie. Come on,
yeah, there was definitely. I think it woke people up to that. But this, our products, I think, gave people a method. As I was saying, at the time, we were selling our products strictly as a health item. But it was this happy accident that led to the rebranding of Aneros as a health and pleasure product in 2000. By 2003, things had taken off dramatically with the establishment of our user forum. And this information got shared, and it kind of spawned a legion of Aneros evangelists, folks who wanted to spread the word and let other people with prostates know what their bodies were truly capable of. As it evolved, a lot of this percolated all over the internet. And today, there are a large number of websites that are out there using information and technology that was created in the Aneros forum. Terms like Super O, prostate awakening, rewiring, these were all terms that we generated in an attempt to codify what we were experiencing back in the day. So it took a while, but the word is out there and people are learning about this now. So yeah,
we are in the movement. It's changing. People are getting on board. Like this is happening. Is it a slow move or is it like what's going on in the current movement towards prostate play? Like why are people getting on board for it?
Do you think that people would be interested? I know that there are going to be some people that have never seen an Aneros prostate massager. Perhaps I can kind of describe it to them so they understand what it's all about. Okay. Yeah, well, for the listeners who haven't seen one of our prostate massagers, I'm holding up one here, but of course you can't see it. Most of them are surprisingly small. Our most popular, the Helix and Trident, has an insertable length of just a little over 3.5 inches. It's just a little larger, and it's roughly the shape of a man's thumb when it's slightly curled. The widest part is just under an inch. It's right near the tip, that is, and under 1/2 inch at the narrowest part, which is coincidentally where it comes to rest when it's fully inserted. So it's very easy and simple and comfortable to insert. It's very easy to get used to once it's inside. Now, extending from the base and curling upward in either direction, there are 2 short arms with tabs. If you can imagine a trident shape, you know, the tri-forked spear that King Neptune carries, but where the center section is longer in this case than the other 2 sections, you'd pretty much have what the product looks like. When inserted anally, the center part comes to rest just underneath the prostate. Externally, one of the 2 arms comes to rest on the perineum. Now, that's the area between the scrotum and anus, sometimes called the taint. The contact, that
Gooch
contact,
in Brooklyn, what's up?
That's it. There you go. There you go. Now, it's an acupressure spot. And it just so happens the pudendal nerve, that's the one that innervates the penis, it runs right underneath that tissue. So it's very sensitive to stimulation. The other external arm comes to rest on an area we call the K-spot, which is on the other side of the anus. And it too is an acupressure spot. The real magic of Aneros products takes place whenever a user generates an anal contraction, because at that point, the device pivots on these 2 external spots, moving inward. This drives the body in the center of the massager inward and upward to come in contact with the prostate. Now, bear in mind, the range of motion here it's pretty small, somewhere between 1/4 inch and 1 inch. But in the process of this motion I've described, 4 erogenous zones are stimulated: the perineum, the K-spot, the anus, and the prostate. And they're all stimulated simultaneously. That's the key to how it works. And that's the key to generating prostate orgasms. So,
What is this K-spot you speak of?
it's just, again, it's on the other side of the anus, and it's just underneath the spine.
I wonder what K
The
stands
coccyx
for.
is really what it is. Kundalini.
Coccyx? Kundalini.
Kundalini.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
For like that coiling energy that goes up and they're like, whoa, it's so amazing.
Exactly.
What about some of the health benefits?
In practical terms, from a lot of the people that I talk to, they don't necessarily get that, right off, having that experience the first time. As a matter of fact, a lot of guys are just absolutely flipped out, by prostate massage. And we can get into why that is and why people are standoffish about that, later if you want to. But you asked about other health conditions. Of course, I should tell you, Aneros is quite literally the only sexual pleasure product that has ever been studied by a major medical university. 2009 by Columbia University Medical Center. It was studied for the treatment of chronic prostatitis and the symptoms of BPH. And it was found to be 80% successful, or successful in improving symptoms, I should say, in 80% of the men that were tested. So that's right there. That's kind of where my whole situation played into it. I didn't know about that. Actually, that didn't even happen at that time. But it certainly, is the foundation for all of this. In addition to those health conditions, we've had a large amount of anecdotal evidence in the form of feedback from our forum members who've achieved results in dealing with other health conditions too. Urinary incontinence, erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation are some of the ones we hear about most often. And, it makes sense because Aneros products can be used as Kegel devices for toning pelvic floor muscles and increasing circulation in the area, which can positively impact these conditions. In the sexual realm, for over 2 decades, we've had tremendous feedback on our device, again, promoting stronger erections, stronger orgasms, and as I said before, just voluminous ejaculations.
So you mentioned that folks are standoffish about prostate play, especially penis owning folks. There can be people out there that are either kind of I don't want to say anti because, right, they just may not have the proper education around why it's beneficial to have your prostate stimulated. But why do you think that penis owners tend to be standoffish when it comes to inserting things in their bum and to learning more about prostate play? And I feel like it's changing, but do you think that's changing?
Yes, in a word, yes. But first and foremost, there is a persistent stigma about anal play. And that's the one that is related to it being a gay behavior. I have to tell you honestly, if this isn't brought up in podcasts, I usually make it my business to do it because we're really trying to extinguish this one. It's been created by long-standing stereotypes and supported by religious and cultural taboos. Of course, it's absolute nonsense. After all, there are many gay folks that have no interest in anal play, and it certainly doesn't make them any less gay. I mean, anal play is no more gay than kissing is gay. So if you're straight, please, it's time. Get over it. If it makes any difference to you, our demographic skews about 60% hetero and 38% gay. The fact is, anal and prostate play are about pleasure, not sexual reorientation. All that said, it's slow going, enlightening some people about this one. It just is. I'm proud to say that at Aneros, we've been doing some serious damage to that stigma for over 2 decades now. And like the information about the Super O, this one is getting out there too. Some of the most recent surveys on this have indicated that a significant number of hetero men are more open to anal play now than they were in the 90s. So, hallelujah. It's
hallelujah.
It's great news.
For sure. God, thank you.
The other thing that plays into this that makes people standoffish about prostate play is what I like to call the Ick Factor. That is the perception that it is dirty and nasty. And look, it can be that way. But the truth is it doesn't have to be that way. If you maintain a high-fiber diet and your system is regular, it's a snap. There's often no waste in the rectum at unexpected times. For those who aren't, a small enema or anal douche is all that's necessary. I emphasize, by the way, small, because the goal is to rinse out the rectum, not the colon. Using large amounts of fluid can initiate peristalsis, which commits you to a project, of cleaning yourself out. In all cases.
Forrest, if you're diagnosed, though, with an enlarged prostate, it's better to check with your doctor before inserting something? Or is that something that, because I know we can't make medical claims, but is that something, because I've been asked that before, and I'm like, I think you should probably consult a doctor, but if you have an enlarged prostate before using prostate massage. If you have any medical condition that involves your prostate, we always recommend that you consult with a doctor first. Always. And particularly with an enlarged prostate. Yes, it's absolutely important that you do. We usually tell, as a matter of fact, I just answered a customer service inquiry about it. And this gentleman wanted to speak to his doctor about it. And I made the suggestion, that he disclose everything to him about the product and that he maybe even bring in a photograph and describe how large it is. Because unfortunately, there are a lot of allopathic doctors that are out there that have the impression, shall we say, of anal play, of it being something that is very invasive. And as I described before, our product is 3.5 inches long. It is not invasive. And but in all cases, as a matter of fact, it's all over our website too. We always suggest that people discuss this with their physician prior to getting involved in this. So,
and you all have some new products available, maybe you can talk about the variety that is on the market and how someone could potentially find the right product for them. And just a reminder, everyone, we have them all at purepleasureshop.com.
And if you use coupon code SHAMELESSSEX, you save 15% on all of the beautiful Aneros products featured there, as well as all of the products that are curated by Pure Pleasure, because it's fucking awesome. That's how I got my start. Go get it, right? Right, Forrest? Right. I'm the frat boy, okay? I can't help it.
Well, getting back to your question, with respect to new products, yes, indeed we do. We recently released the Helix Syn V. Now, the SYN-V is a vibrating version of our most popular product, the Helix and Trident, which is arguably the best-selling hands-free, self-powered prostate massager in the world today. The SYN-V is almost 9 years in the making. Truth be told, when we released the first Helix Syn in 2012, almost instantly, users were clamoring for a vibrating version. Question is, why did we wait so long, right? The biggest obstacle was really the technology. The fact is, it's only been very recently when the smaller, more powerful motors and batteries have become available. This product is about an inch at widest and less than a half an inch where it's the most narrow. So this was an engineering issue to begin with, no question about it. The second thing that held this up was probably me. Truth be told, I had a bit of a bias about vibration when it comes to prostate stimulation. I believe that it desensitizes the prostate. It was something that I discouraged the company from getting involved with, quite frankly. Most of this was generated by my experience with some of the repurposed G-spot massagers, the ones for vulvas that I played with in the early days. I mean, they were terrible. It was terrible, not for this particular purpose. When the first electronic prostate toys came out, they too were pretty disappointing. So for well over a decade, I was convinced that vibration was totally counterproductive to prostate orgasm, and it actually desensitized the gland, as I said. And I still maintain that for most of the products that are on the market today. I actively discourage forum members from using it. But with time and research, I discovered that there are certain types of vibration that could actually be stimulating and didn't produce the numbing, desensitizing effect that I just despise so much. Working with our testers, a group comprised of veteran users and Aneros forum members, I was able to cull together a series of patterns that actually help stimulate prostate orgasm. Now, what I'm talking about here is basically kind of a holy grail for Aneros fans out there, particularly for the guys who need just a little kickstarting. In addition to that, I added several levels that were created for people who were looking for stronger vibration, say for intercourse or foreplay. If that isn't enough, this model performs amazingly in unpowered mode too. Furthermore, it works up to 6 hours on a single charge. It's really the most versatile product that we sell. I'm tremendously excited about it, and I truly feel it's the finest product we've ever made. And I'm just telling you right now, I've never said that before. I just haven't. I mean, you know, everything that we've made, they're terrific products, but I really think this is the finest product that we've ever made. And let me put it to you this way. It's the first vibrating product that I've ever used that has made me come. Yeah.
Wait, so how do people know which one to buy? Would you recommend starting in a specific place and working your way into a different zone, or trying like getting the whole basket, get everything,
get them all?
You know, seriously, I am so enthusiastic about this product. The lineage of this product is, as I say, from the Helix Syn, and the Helix Syn we recommend for people who are for beginners to advanced users. And if I was ever to say that there was one product to get, I would say get this one. I really would say that at this point. I mean, I'm that enthusiastic about it. I mean, our testers had the same result that I had on it. And if you check the user reviews so far, most of them are saying the same thing too. It is just, it really is an exceptional product.
Well, it is Movember. This is November. Yes, I know how to say November, but Movember, as I've stated in the intro, it's not only Prostate Awareness Month, it's all about the health of penis owners, right? It's just men's health. That's why we talked about growing mustaches. And Forrest, you have a beautiful mustache and goatee. And I think that's all year round for you, because you're always considerate of the prostate awareness. So can you talk about anything special that Aneros has going on? I know you have some new products launching, but what else are y'all up to?
Well, you know, given our background and what we're involved in, we've always participated in prostate health events. We've competed in the fundraising walks in September, and we've shaved our beards in November. And this year, we're taking a pass on that. But we've partnered with a prostate cancer charity called Zero, the End to Prostate Cancer. Now, this charity has a long history of providing comprehensive support for prostate cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers. And it also increases prostate cancer awareness and advances research. So we're really happy to be involved with them. For the first event, we're donating a portion of each sale for the month of Movember, of a special edition product that we've created. So we're super excited about this event and about this creating this ongoing relationship with Zero, the end of prostate cancer.
Which product is it that is being the proceeds, or a portion of the proceeds are being donated to?
It is
all this beautiful.
It is a men's health. It is a men's health edition of the Helix Sin, and it is actually a blue Helix Sin that we have created.
New color.
Yes.
I love that. You know, I grow a mustache sometimes, but I just wax it off. No one knows,
And a beard sometimes, too.
And sometimes a beard. Well, Forrest, you are just an incredible... This is why you've been on our show now 2 times, because the amount of information that you have, and the fact that you use your body as one of the guides to testing the products and to knowing how the products work, that is what makes an amazing brand and an incredible sex toy company. And I'm so thankful that you were able to come and share your wisdom on shameless sex with our listeners, because this is it's such a great thing for folks to at least try, and it has health benefits and the pleasure portion, the multiple orgasmic human out there that wants to search for that full body orgasm with the K spot, the P spot, the D spot, the O spot, all of the spots.
All the spots.
All them spots.
Well, thank you. And I don't want you to go, but we know you have to run off, Forrest. And unless you want to share anything else with us, if there's one last bit of information, you let it out. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about wine, because that's what I like to do.
Okay. The only thing that I would say to everybody is that your body is capable of a lot more than you think it is. When I first had this experience, as I said, it was something that was totally beyond me. It really was. I never had anything quite like it. For a period of time, I felt like I was Superman. And back in those days, there was really nobody that I could share it with. We are in a different point in time now. The product is out there. We're talking about super orgasms. And this is a birthright that people have. There's no reason they shouldn't be able to experience this. It is a whole new realm of sensuality. And I really encourage everybody to take the lead, to take the plunge, so to speak.
Take that plunge.
Yeah. Well, I hope that everyone takes the plunge, and I'm going to plunge into some wine right now from Margins Wine, everyone. Go check out why we love Margins Wine so much and plunge yourself in. It is the holidays soon, so we do plunge ourselves into a bunch of things. I know turkey might be on the menu for some people for Thanksgiving, if you're giving thanks, and give thanks to your prostate by getting yourself a prostate massage by the Helix or any of the I can't believe you all have how many products now? 12?
About 13.
13.
About 13. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
We do.
So there is bound to be something that your bum will love. And thank you to Margins Wine for making incredible wine. Go to marginswine.com, sign up for their newsletter, and you can save some money to help yourself buy more prostate massagers by using code SHAMELESSSEX10 to save 10% on 3 or more bottles, or SHAMELESSSEX15 to save yourself 15% on 6 or more bottles. And we have one last thing to share with you before I say my goodbye from Forrest.
If you guys would like to do a little contest, we might have a giveaway with the Helix Sin V. Do you think that any of your listeners might be interested in that?
Love it. Like a social media contest, like Instagram?
You betcha. We'll let you handle that. We'll handle the prizes. How's that?
Well, then y'all got to go follow us on Instagram, don't you?
That's right. You're getting bossed around by us right now, so you have to go get some Aneros products. Go follow us on Instagram at Shameless Sex Podcast. Go check out Margins Wine, and go give us 5 stars on iTunes, because we want more people to learn about their prostates and find beautiful products and information from knowledgeable humans out there that are investigating their bodies like the guinea pigs that we all are. And not with a guinea pig, though, okay?
No, not cool. Not cool.
That's not consensual.
Nerp. We do not agree.
We do not consent. All right, y'all. We will see you next Tuesday. Ciao for now. Want to learn more? Go to shamelesssex.com.
And for 15% off of some of our favorite sex toys, use code SHAMELESSSEX at purepleasureshop.com.